Okay, so today we got some footage from Sunday's race. I just want to say thank you to Prince Charles, aka Charlie Carbs on Cycling on YouTube, for the footage, and also the guys on the motorbike filming the race. So as you can see, it was a vegan domination. We had Jason Fonga there on the podium in third place, and Charlie Carbs, he won the race, and old Tori cleaned up in the women's very easily too. And Tori was just taking it easy. She could have easily gone another 2 minutes faster if she gave it everything. But anyway, this is the men's race. It wasn't really a very competitive field. There weren't any of the pro guys in the race this day. And the reason for that is there wasn't really any prize money. Well, there wasn't prize money. And I think if there was like 10,000 baht up for grabs, we definitely see some abnormal watts per kilo on this one. For sure. Okay, so you can see here, we start the climb. The video footage there on the left is more at the back, but it is sort of in synchronization with this. I think this is like a second or two out. I tried my best to get it in sync. And yeah, it looks like Charlie put some nice numbers here on the screen. He put his power and his cadence, as well as the speed we were going, and the distance of the race, and also the gradients. So Doi Suthep average gradient about 6%. It's got a steeper section that kicks up to 12%. It's the end section there, and my tactic was just to let Charlie go to the front on that section. I thought the race was actually ending at the end of the actual segment, but it turns out that we finished another K&a-half up the road. So at that point I thought that we're going all the way to the palace, so I was just easing off the gas, easing it down to 300 watts, but in actual fact it wasn't that far. So Charlie's watts per kilo for this climb, 5.3, not too bad. Our power meters do vary a little bit. Mine tends to read on the lower side. I think it might be a Quark stages thing, because with Sam's power meter last year, it gave him like a value of 5.6 watts per kilo when mine was 5.3. So on the scales today, or on the scales for Sunday, I clocked in at 69 kilos. So not my lightest weight, but the power was 354 watts. So it was the same as my Doi Suthep PR, but yeah, I was carrying 3 kilograms extra. And I think also the fact that we didn't cut any corners, or we didn't cut the corners as hardcore as I did on that PR attempt, that made the time significantly slower. It was about 50 seconds slower than my Doi Suthep PR. So here we can see that yeah, there's not a lot of guys that can hang on at this tempo. I just started the climb at about 420, 430 watts per first minute, and then just eased into my tempo that I would ride for a 30-minute climb. You can see the cadence I'm riding is not too crazy. I think the average cadence was about 87 for this climb, which is pretty much the same as my Doi Suthep PR. Nothing too crazy. We've got Fonga there on the left, struggling to hang on. I think he just decided he's going to ride his own rhythm, because he's done this with me a couple of times, and he knows that I like to go balls deep just from the start. So he knows my style already. He knows what I do. Yeah, it was pretty cool that we had some motorbikes on the ride filming the ride. Made things a little bit more interesting. I thought there wasn't even going to be any of that. So yeah, I didn't enter for this race because I knew there isn't any prize money and there was only going to be a trophy. So I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to take advantage of the race vibes and just give it everything I got. So how much warm-up did I do for this climb? I did about 30 minutes of warm-up, and I didn't take any water with me because I just wanted to lose some water weight and keep things as light as possible. The new bike that I have weighs in at 8 kilograms. My bike before this, the Yankee, was 8.3 kilos, so a little bit lighter. It does help a tad, but rotational mass makes even more of a difference. With rotational mass you get double the advantage. So I still got the same wheels that I did with the Yankee. Got the DT Swiss R22 die cuts, and I like the wheels. So they've got a nice wide rim, and I'm running 25 mil tires on this bike. I find them to have better grip, and they're just really comfortable. I dig them. I've also been doing a no fap challenge for the last 2 months. haven't fapped at all, 60 days, fuck all fapping, and I found that my power has just gone up so much. I'm just talking absolute nonsense. I fap away, but I fap out of inspiration, not desperation. So definitely, if you want to have sex before a bike race or you want to fap, just hit it. It's not a problem, and you're going to find that you're going to be more relaxed. And guess what happens if you're more relaxed? You're going to be able to dig a lot deeper than you otherwise would. What was the nutrition like before the start of the race? Well, I just had myself a good old 100 grams of sugar water. I really like the Thai brown sugar. Here in Thailand, they've got like this powdered brown sugar, and it tastes really good. It dissolves well in the water, and it's got an interesting flavor, and I find that I like it more than white sugar, for sure. You might have noticed 30 seconds ago there was a little bit of a surge in power. Charlie's power went up to about 400 watts. And yeah, that's just because I like to play with the rider's mind sometimes, just to have a little bit of fun. You've got to turn this into a game. If you turn cycling into a game, it makes it a lot more fun. Whereas if you think about it like some kind of a chore or a punishment, you're not going to enjoy it much. But if you think about it as a dance or a party or anything positive, any real positive connotation that you put onto it, it's going to make it a much better experience for yourself. And if you're feeling better psychologically about it, then you're going to be able to give a lot more than you otherwise would. I personally decided to turn this race into a rave party for me. So the music that you hear in this video is the music that I was riding with, and it made it fun. I enjoyed it. Basically, there was no competition in this race, because if there was competition, we would have been like 10 guys up the front here, and I would have been fucking hanging on for dear life. I know there's guys that can fucking ride 25 minutes up here, 6 watts per kilo, no worries. They've got a good doctor, a good pharmacist, and they can smash it. But today, there was no prize money, so therefore, there's much less incentive to dope, and vegans can dominate. So to finish things off, you'll see that just before the steep section there at the end, the 12% gradient, I put my hand up for old Charlie Man to come through and take the victory. I thought at this point that the race finish was going to be at the end of the segment, but yeah, it was further up the road, so then you'll see me coming back up front and just keeping the pace steady for Charlie Boy, so he could successfully take the win and get a nice fat trophy for his closet.
Nice.